Hey, Tom Beal here, coming to you from the beach here in Boca Raton, right up the street at the end of Palmetto. And I'll be doing a little bit of a chat today and interacting with you who join. The topic is how to remain focused in these chaotic times. So as we've all seen and witnessed, not just in this past week, what's up Dennis, but in the past years, like there's a lot more crazy situations occurring worldwide, locally, than we remember as children. And I put some thought to this, and it really comes down to a couple different things. One, the world is much more connected. Two, the population has exploded. I'm going to be 44 years old in a few months, and when I was a baby, the population was just about half worldwide as what it is now. So the population alone, by doubling in the last 40 years, in essence, has doubled the amount of insane, crazy, mentally ill people, etc. So that is one aspect. The other aspect is this interconnected world that we live in. We don't hear of news a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later. We hear of news instantaneously. So that direct communication and direct access to the world has us more tapped in. And is that a good or a bad thing? You know, some would say there's pros to that, and some would say there's cons to that, but it is what it is. The question is, how do we remain focused in today's chaotic world and tapped in world? And I would dare to have you consider that it's all about what we choose to focus on. And it's really becoming disciplined in recognizing everywhere we put our attention, everywhere we put our focus, everywhere we put our energy impacts us in some way, shape, or form. So it's our responsibility to choose the only three things that I feel we as human beings can choose to control. Our thoughts, our words, our actions, which by default, when we control those, allows us to control our emotions. So if we control our thoughts, our words, our actions, and emotions, that's severely impacted by where we choose to focus, where we choose to give our attention. So if we're glued to the TV screens, if we're glued to the newspapers, well, right away, I have an acronym for NEWS. NEWS stands for negative energy without substance. Negative energy sells, ladies and gentlemen, and negative energy is what's going to be in the newspapers. It's what's going to be in the TV channels. It's what's going to be in the videos that go wildly viral, because fear, worry, concern, bad news travels way faster than good news. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So knowing that to be true, we have to choose wisely where to give our attention and where to give our energy. And this great tool here, Facebook even, is an example of that. How often and how disciplined should we choose to be on here? This could, in essence, steal minutes, hours, and possibly days if we were tapped in just looking at the news feeds and listening and watching and all the fun things that go along with that. So it's up to us to take control of the things that we can control, which is our thoughts, our words, our actions, our emotions, and our focus. So let's see if I can remember some Tony Robbins trainings that I took and studied. Tony says there's three things that are key to who we are and how we operate in this world, and those things are called the Triad. It's our physiology. Like I stood up as I straightened my back as I said that. Our physiology, our facial expressions, how we carry ourselves is important. That's number one, our physiology. Number two is our focus. Where are we choosing to focus? And if we're focusing on bad things, guess what? That's going to bring our energy down, and it will probably have us thinking about some bad things. So our physiology, our focus, and on the converse, if we're focusing on good things, that also helps us get more towards the good if we think of everything as energy. And so we have physiology, we have focus, and then we have language. Language, internally and externally. How are you speaking to yourself in your mind? How are you speaking to others? Words have power. And I know for one, myself, there's times when I beat myself up in my mind, and the words that I share with myself, I would never say to a worst enemy, and definitely not a friend. So take control of that internal voice and treat yourself like a friend and speak yourself up. Speak yourself into being the best you're capable of being. And outwardly express your words carefully and in a manner that uplifts others. Words have power. Words are extremely powerful. So choose your words wisely. So how to remain focused in this chaotic world? A, your physiology. Make sure you're smiling. Make sure you're standing up straight. B, your focus. Where are you focusing your attention? What are you giving your attention to? Wherever we give our attention, that's what's going to grow. And third, the language internally. How are you speaking to yourself? And externally, how are you speaking and communicating with others? Think of those things. The next aspect of how do we remain focused in a chaotic world is what I learned in a book by Dale Carnegie called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. There's many great lessons in that book. A couple that resonate with me that I'd like to share with you today is this. There's only two things we can choose to worry about. Things we can control and things we can't control. And let's think about this. If we're choosing to worry about something we can control, let me ask you a simple question. Why are you worrying about it? Control it and stop worrying about it. Simple. And the second aspect, if there's the other side of that coin is, if we can choose to worry about things we can't control, let me ask you that question. The next question. Why are you worrying about something you can't control? You can't control it. There's nothing you can do. Stop worrying. So when you think of it in that term and in that different frame, you now recognize worry is a choice. And many of you, just like me, recognize that most of the worries we have don't come to reality, don't become real. All right, so of those two things, there's things I can control and there's things I can't control. So this past weekend, I was in Orlando, and I was super saddened to hear that the singer from The Voice was murdered while signing autographs. Someone came in with a gun and shot her. A young, aspiring singer, 22 years old, life taken by who knows what. And that person is now dead, so we don't know the answers. But the bottom line is she's gone. And then a day and a half later, some crazy nut job went in and shot up and killed 49 people and injured another 53. For what, right? We don't know. And he's gone too. I mean, there's lots of speculation. There's lots of theories behind this. But the bottom line is a lot of crazy stuff is happening. And then today in Florida, up in Orlando, a 2-year-old boy was dragged away by an alligator at Disney. An amazing vacation turned into a nightmare. So let's think about worry. One, we can feel compassion and we can feel empathy for people going through difficult times, and we can send our love, send our prayers, and do whatever we feel called to do that may take some action, that may be contributing blood, may be contributing to a fund, may be doing something, writing a letter, posting something. But if we circle back to the two things we can control and things we can't control, and we can choose to worry about something we can control or something we can't control. So one, worry. A worry is legitimate and real, that we are living in times when you need to have concern for your and your loved one's well-being. I grew up as a wrestler, and I also was in the Marine Corps. I will protect myself and protect those in my vicinity if necessary. Prepared for that. Not a question. I prepared myself. If you aren't prepared to protect yourself and your loved ones and people in your vicinity, take some action. Be prepared. Take a kickboxing class, take a boxing class, take a taekwondo class, take something that gets you feeling confident that you can take care of your own. And in many states, go take a concealed weapons course. Get a concealed weapon and learn how to do it. I also was a primary marksmanship in the Marine Corps, and I am not an advocate for getting people who don't know how to properly use weapons. I'm not about giving them weapons. So go get the proper training so that you are more of a danger to others. You're actually someone who can add an added protective blanket for others. And that comes with the proper training. Be prepared. All right, so if I'm worried about my safety, there are steps I can take to be prepared. And that also entails living in this day and age where most everyone's staring at their daggone phones. Look up, take a look around your vicinity, take a look around your situation, and be aware of what's happening. And I'm a big believer, and I'm looking around now, I can feel energy, and I can recognize people and some other people that may not have the best of intentions. Energy is transferable. We can see that and we can feel that. If you feel uncomfortable, get out of there, remove yourself from that. So remain aware, remain vigilant, be prepared, and that's worried about the concern of danger. But let's face it, there's other things that we could choose to worry about, but they fall into the category of something we can't control. So right behind me is the vast ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. And over history, there's been times when there have been tremendous storms that have killed many people. And some have been very spur of the moment, unpredicted, boom, all of a sudden an earthquake, all of a sudden a tidal wave, whatever happens. I could sit here and choose to worry if I wanted to. I choose not to. That's out of my control. I can't control the environment. I can't control nature. I can't control other people, right? So that whole incident in Orlando was this one whack job who came in with heavily armed and wanting to do ill harm and kill as many people as possible. And he succeeded wildly in that ridiculously incomprehensible plan, and wrong place, wrong time, right? So I won't be able to control every situation. I won't be able to control other people. I'm in my own environment right now. Somebody might come around the corner with ill intent, and I'd have to handle it in the moment, right? But I will do exactly that. I'll handle it in the moment. I can't prepare for those types of things other than being prepared, knowing how, if something crazy happens, here's how I'm going to reply, here's how I'm going to respond, making that decision in advance. So for instance, planning, like, okay, there's an escape route here, I could bail off of here, knowing the surroundings and knowing what the possibilities are. So going back to how to stop worrying and start living. 2 things you can choose to worry about. Things you can control, don't worry about it, just control it and stop worrying about it. And things you can't control. So if you can't control it, don't worry about it and move on, stop worrying. You can't control it, it's out of your control. So how to remain focused in a chaotic world? Accept this. The one thing you can count on is chaos. Probably more. It's grown tremendously over the last 4 decades, and it's probably going to grow more. Why? Because the population has, in essence, doubled in 40 years. So there's double amounts of crazy people out and about doing what they're doing. That's just part of percentages. That's just how it works. So yeah, there's going to be more, and you need to be prepared, and you need to be aware, be vigilant, and be choosy in how and where you decide to act and conduct yourself. Now, I choose to not let fear interfere with my decisions and actions. That doesn't say I don't use discernment. I am very discerning about where I'm going to go, who I'm going to go with, and what those surroundings are. And there will be some discernment made in my decisions, but it's not based on fear. It's made out of common sense. Don't let fear drive your life. That's a miserable life. I live by joy, adventure, passion. It may not be the same for you, but everything I do has a level of joy, adventure, and passion in it. And I would let you explore what keywords could resonate for you. So there's 3 things that we all need as humans. We need consistency. We need, that feeling of security, of safety, which comes with consistency. We need exploration, which is opposite of consistency. We need exploration, which is outside of our comfort zone, exploring a bit. And then we also need consistency, exploration, and one other thing, but it's jumping out of my mind right now. All right, so Steve to Joe, got to jump on a conference call, make today great, awesome. Marco, yes, true. Jared, what's up? Agreed, I got your back. Absolutely, man, and that's it. Stick around with friends as well, right? That trust you and you trust them. That's part of this whole human experience as well. But I just felt called to break away from the average day and take a break, right? I posted something on Facebook earlier, things to do to enjoy your work day. And one of them, just break away, go for a walk, do something fun. I've been putting in some hours for a big launch coming up and decided to break away, come down to the beach. I normally walk here on a regular basis. I've been walking to the beach every other day and going to the gym every other day, getting back in shape. And felt like coming out here and just speaking my mind and sharing this. And if it helps one person, good. If it doesn't help anybody, hey, at least I got to speak my mind. I didn't keep my mouth shut. And that's all I can do. And that's all you can do. Just be you. And in being you, if you can help people, do it. If you have some information that might be helpful, share it. So I hope this is helpful for you. It's hot as a son of a gun here, so my arm's getting sore from holding this up, so I'm gonna call this quits. If this was helpful to you, go ahead and share it. If you have any other further questions or just want to hear my perspective on topics, life in general, I got plenty. I got plenty of perspective, all right? Enough to go around. So make today great. Live your life out of joy, adventure, passion, or whatever keywords resonate for you. Don't let fear intrude on your life. However, remain vigilant, remain aware, remain or be prepared, and don't choose to worry about things, because you can worry about two things: things you can control or things you can't control. If you can control it, don't worry about it. If you can't control it, why are you worrying about it? You can't control it. All right, hopefully that's helpful. Make today great. Talk with you soon. Bye for now.